it's Danielle. So for today's video, I wanted to give you an update on how I've been doing with Wellbutrin. I apologize because I know it's been a really long time since I've done one of these videos, but I haven't really felt the need to update you guys because things are basically the same. So I have been on Wellbutrin for a year and 8 months, coming up on a year and 9 months here in May. And I am absolutely in love with it. I do, have some reservations about it, and I'll get into that. But for the most part, I absolutely feel like I cannot live without my Wellbutrin. I know it's kind of sad to say that, but it helps me function in my day-to-day life, and that's all I really want. So to kind of give you guys some background, I have been depressed since the age of 8, and I'm currently 24. So very long time that I have had depression, and I didn't seek help for it until I was 19. So pretty much I suffered for about 11 years before I even decided, hey, maybe I should actually go get some help. So the original form of help that I was using was just therapy, but I felt like that didn't really do anything for me. So I don't really count that because, again, it didn't really do anything for me. So I didn't actually start taking like medication for my depression until I was 19. And I started off with Zoloft. Didn't really work for me, so I moved on to Prozac. Prozac kind of, for me, was, the same thing as the Zoloft, where I was really, really great when I started out, and then it just kind of fizzled. And obviously that's not something I was looking for. I was looking for something a little bit more long-term. So what was it? August of 2016, I was talking to my doctor, and she mentioned Wellbutrin to me, and me being the person that I am, I said, yeah, sure, I'll try it. Like, what the hell? Whatever. So ever since, I've been on it, and unless they come up with something better, I don't see myself ever coming off of it, at least not for the foreseeable future. It might change like when I have kids or something, because, it's probably not the best idea to be taking stuff like that when you're trying to have kids or whatever. I don't know. When I get to that stage of my life, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, I'm still on the 150 milligrams that I originally started off with, and I can't really say anything bad about it other than some of the side effects. So I get a lot of people who ask me, hey, I'm having this, and this happen. Like, will this ever go away? Please just keep in mind that I am not a medical professional. I do have my bachelor's, but it's in business. So I'm not going to give you solid medical advice because, first of all, I'm not qualified, and secondly, I'm not qualified. So anyways, to start off, the side effects that I had were sleeplessness. I had a severely dry mouth. My skin became incredibly dry. Not only that, but my cravings for salt and sugar died down immensely. And I'll get into that in a second. Also, my ears kind of dried out. I know that sounds really weird, but it's true. My eyes, I've noticed, are also drier. And aside from that, those are really the only side effects that I've had. Now, some of the side effects that you may experience when you first start taking Wellbutrin will subside. Like, it just, again, everything depends on your body. Everyone's bodies are different, and that's something that you really need to keep in mind. So just because I experienced all those things does not by any means mean that you're going to experience the same things. it's just, it's a good idea to be aware of what the side effects are, kind of keep like a little list handy when you first start out taking Wellbutrin, and keep a list of the things that you're experiencing. One side effect that I forgot to mention is that I do get dizzy from time to time, and it's not something that will last all day. Sometimes it's just completely random. I don't know if this is a side effect from the Wellbutrin or not, but I do occasionally have tunnel vision as well. So it just kind of depends. But anyways, so when I first started off, and I do have a video of when I first started off on Wellbutrin, if you want to go dig that up, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, I pretty much had all the same symptoms that I currently have. The biggest difference is that I no longer am sleepless during the night, because I remember, I think it was the first month or two that I was on Wellbutrin, and I actually was pulling all-nighters, which granted wasn't a bad idea because it was my last semester of college, but it's not really something that anybody strives for, I think, once they get past a certain age. So anyways, that was really the only thing for me that has really subsided as far as, side effects. My ears almost immediately became super dry and super itchy. And I didn't mention this in any of my previous Wellbutrin videos because I thought that it was completely unrelated. And I'm not even kidding when I say this. It literally just occurred to me this year. So I know it's really a weird thing to say, but my ears are incredibly dry on the inside. So honestly, I put Vaseline in them. I put Tiger Balm in them. Stuff like that. And if there's any any ENTs that ever watch this video, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this girl doing? But anyways, excuse me, that has driven me insane, to say the least, because I can't really have earbuds in my ears for extended periods of time because it irritates them. And it's worse when I travel by plane because, the air is so dry up there. So it's mainly just a nuisance, like all the other side effects. So something else, the dry mouth. I remember on one of my previous videos, somebody commented, you really need to stop talking about how dry your mouth is. And I'm like, you know what? The reason why I mentioned it so much is because that's how bad it is. And it's true. I tend to drink a lot of water because of it. Because if I don't, I will actually lose my voice within the span of a day. And not only that, but my face will start to break out as well if I don't stay properly hydrated. It never used to be like that for me until I was on Wellbutrin. And, it basically dries your body out. So you have to keep, replenishing your fluids all the time. And it gets to be really cumbersome. Again, when I travel, it becomes a huge pain in the ass, especially if I'm going by plane because, I don't always have immediate access to water. I don't really feel like paying $6 for one bottle of water. So just kind of becomes a pain in the ass. And then, if I'm driving somewhere, I have to stop all the time to go to the bathroom because, again, I'm chugging water. So it's a huge pain in the ass in that sense. But I mean, if you're relatively stationary, it's not that big of a deal. As far as having dry eyes, I attributed that to the fact that I had LASIK. I had LASIK in January of 2015, and it's been 3 years now, but my eyes still kind of get dry So I really kind of had to keep an eye on that. And, I can't have like a fan on me 24/7 if it's hot out because again, my eyes get dry really quickly. So it's one of those things. In addition to that, I still have an aversion to salt, like super salty and super sweet foods. And I've noticed that there are things that I have eaten in my youth that I absolutely refuse to touch nowadays. And maybe a part of that is because, I'm growing up and my taste buds have changed. Or it could just be because I had so much of it as a kid that I'm like, I don't want to touch that ever again. But I have noticed that a large part of it is due to the Wellbutrin. And the best example that I can give is before I was on Wellbutrin, when it was my second to last semester of college, I was consuming about 1 pot of coffee per day. So literally 12 cups of coffee a day. And I would drink them 6 cups at a time because I have a mug that's that big. And the amount of sugar that I would put in there was absolutely atrocious. And at this point, I look back and I'm like, I don't know how I didn't die from that or something, or like, become diabetic, because I was a lot more overweight than I currently am. I've lost about 60 pounds in the past year. But yeah, it was really bad. I craved salt like nobody's business, and it didn't really occur to me. And then I remember as soon as I went on the Wellbutrin, I suddenly had an aversion to all these different types of foods, and I basically ended up changing the way that I ate. Not so much because of my health, but because of the way that the Wellbutrin made me feel. So it's things like that. I wouldn't say it was really profound, but I have been getting back into eating more fruits and vegetables, and it's really not an attempt for me to lose weight or anything, and it's really not a result of the Wellbutrin. It's honestly just because I enjoy them, which I never thought I would say that. But anyways, I apologize for that tangent. So aside from that, I really don't have any issues with the Wellbutrin. I no longer have sleepless nights, and that's probably because for work, I get up at 3 in the morning and I don't get home till sometimes 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Right now, I work in an industry that is customer based, so right now it's a little bit light. But when it gets to be around the holidays again, I'm going to end up staying at work for closer to 14 or 15 hours. So it's one of those things where I don't really experience the whole sleepless nights thing anymore, because generally as soon as I get home, I'm ready to pass out. And even when I'm at home and I'm just chilling, the same thing can be said. I really don't stay up past probably 10 o'clock anymore. Don't know if that's because I'm getting old or what, but it doesn't matter what time I take the Wellbutrin. It doesn't really have an effect on me that much anymore. That being said though, if I wake up at like 12 or past 12 in the afternoon, I will not take my Wellbutrin. And I do that on purpose because, just in case I end up being sleepless, I don't want to be repeating that pattern. So I try to take it right when I wake up, or at least an hour after I wake up. And it generally works out pretty well, and I can go to bed at a decent time. So pretty much what I'm trying to tell you guys is that pretty much the side effects that you experience in the beginning are the ones that you're going to continue to have the entire duration, of taking Wellbutrin. Again, that might be subject to change because everyone's bodies are different. But for me, I've had the same symptoms for a year and 8 months. So pretty sure I'm going to be dealing with this shit for either the rest of my life or for however long I'm still going to be on Wellbutrin. So anyways, I hope that answers your questions about that. Somebody also commented on another one of my Wellbutrin videos and said that the only side effect she's experienced is that she's become more agitated. And personally, I've never experienced that. I notice that when I do take the Wellbutrin, I'm a lot more of a calm person. Whereas before, if one little thing happened, I would go off. Like, I didn't want to be around people, and I just don't like the person that I am when I'm not on Wellbutrin. I'm not patient, I'm not calm, I am not very understanding, and for me personally, those are things that I've always strived to be, but it's kind of difficult to force yourself to be like that when your brain literally does not allow you. So, it's another thing to kind of take into consideration. Pretty much everything that I experienced when I was depressed has been reversed after taking Wellbutrin. So, I've mentioned all of those. Like, before I, could sleep like for hours on end. I mean, I still technically could depending on the situation, but for the most part, I can be awake all day and I can actually be alert. So that's a first. I have the aversion to super sweet and super salty foods, which, when you're depressed, you kind of gravitate more towards like chocolate and that kind of thing because it releases endorphins and, makes you feel happy, that kind of thing. And then, like I said, the agitation has been significantly reduced, and I'm a lot more patient with people, and I really just feel like on Wellbutrin I am my true self rather than my depressed self, if that makes sense. So anyways, I know this was a really long video and I apologize, but I wanted to make sure that you guys really, understand what it's like to be on this medication long term. I wouldn't say it's really long term, but it's been almost 2 years now and still going strong, still on the same dosage. That being said, I want to mention a couple of things to you guys. The first thing is, do not feel bad if you have to change up your dosage. I know some people think that there's something wrong with them when they need to get their dosage either increased or decreased. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that it doesn't work with you. So why would you work with it? So pretty simple, Something else is there might be people around you who think that they're stating their opinion in your best interest, but they might really not be. Good example would be when I first started on this depression journey, as I call it, and I told my mom that I was putting myself on medication. She said, "Oh, I don't think that you should because, it's really bad for you to be on that kind of thing long term." And I was like, you know what? My doctor told me it's safe for me to be on this shit long term. Not only that, but there are tons of studies that show that you can be on these medications long term. Obviously, as long as you're under medical supervision. So I get that that came from like a caring standpoint, but at the same time, when you're trying to improve your life and you use the medication as a tool for that, some people, decide to give you shit for it. I've also had people tell me that they don't think I should be on medication at all, and that, all I have to do is exercise, or all I have to do is meditate or do yoga. Those people are stupid. You do not need them in your life. And generally, those are the people who have never experienced a depression a day in their life. So don't take what they say to heart, because honestly, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So just be aware that those people exist as well, because I've dealt with my fair share of them. My personal opinion is that if it helps you to function on a day-to-day basis, if it helps you to perform basic tasks that you struggle with, then it's really not that bad. For example, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, but when you're depressed, you don't want to do simple shit like brush your teeth or wash your face or wash your hands. It's even like taking a shower, washing your hair, stuff like that. People who have never experienced depression think that it's really gross, but at the same time, they don't understand that we're just so fucking tired. So don't listen to them. And nobody knows yourself better than you do. So just make sure that you're paying attention and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, I said my spiel, so I apologize because it was, so many tangents, and this is a super long video. But if you guys have any questions, just ask me in the comments below. If you're not comfortable asking your question in the comments below, you can always find me on Instagram. You can add me on Snapchat and ask me on there. It really doesn't matter. I will try to answer your question to the best of my ability and as quickly as possible. That being said, there are some things that I will flat out refuse to tell you. And it's not because I'm trying to be mean or because I'm trying to sabotage you or whatever. It's because I am not a medical professional. Like I stated at the beginning of this video, I'm not a medical professional. I wanted to be as a kid, but I decided I was better suited for business. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is, if you have any questions, you need to ask like a legit doctor or, a medical practitioner. And yeah, so anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I wish you all the best if you are venturing into the world of Wellbutrin. And I will talk to y'all in my next video. Bye, guys. We are getting older, dear.